सिया राम, जय जय राम सिया राम, राम सिया राम, जय जय राम सिया राम।
चल सबको रिझाता चल, सबसे निभाता चल, सबको रिझाता चल, मिल जाएंगे राम। राम नाम का अलख जगाता चल, मिल जाएंगे राम। राम धुन गाता चल, राम धुन गाता चल, राम धुन गाता चल, राम धुन गाता चल।
राम सिया राम, जय जय राम सिया राम।
भवतु सहनौ भुनक्तु सह वीर्यं करवावहै तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्ति। So we have been studying about the use and abuse of the spiritual path. What is the use of the spiritual path? Is that it takes you to your original nature. It takes you to the development of your personality. It gets to you eventually enlightenment. What is its abuse? Its abuse is of two types. One is the goal is not clear, or two is the methodology is not clear. So these are the two problems we encounter on the spiritual path. Just trying to understand what it's talking about sometimes is very difficult. And common examples are like detachment. Detachment, we always think, is something to do with giving up some object or giving up some being. Always think of it like that. But detachment is not giving up the object or being. Detachment is how you're relating to that object or being. Very, very simple example of this is um, many years ago, a bunch of couples, whatever, went for a trip. Two friends all went for a trip. And one of the ladies there was very, very particular that she coordinate with everybody somehow. Like if we have to eat, then we have to all eat together. If you have to go somewhere, then everybody has to go to that place. I mean, very good intentions that she wanted to keep the group together. But she never ever figured out that she was just driving everybody insane. Because it's okay, they're adults. If somebody wants to sleep a little bit more or not have lunch at a particular time or not go to a particular place, leave them alone. No, we are gone as a group, so we have to do everything together. Now the what should I say? The problem with this thing is, no doubt she agitated everybody else, but how agitated she got. Because her theory was, I'm doing so much for everybody and they're not treating me properly. So the concept of what is detachment, what is service, what is coordinating with others, sometimes is very, very confusing to us. Everything becomes something that we are doing it wrongly, but we are labeling it rightly. I mean, you call it a good word, but actually what you're doing is a bad thing. And then we take on all sorts of actions, strange actions, such as yesterday, Omkar and I, who was telling me apparently that, if the people are of the belief that you have done some bad karma, some bad action, then you go feed the cow. Then your bad action will get taken care of. Some people are of the belief that you do something stupid and then you take a dip in the Ganga and then you're okay. So his point was, which he was sending out as an email, is do your good karmas, banish your bad karmas. So what's your answer? Do your good karmas, remove all your bad karmas. He put a quiz of some sort. I hope I'm not interrupting your quiz, Omkar. Is it okay to say this?
One answer is fine.
Sorry?
We have 5, so one is okay.
Oh, one is fine. Okay. So he put a quiz. You know why, no? He's put a quiz because he's trying to entice more people to come to our class next Saturday. So much these people do, but the world is least bothered about us. How much they work, poor things. This time, Omkar has come up with the idea that we'll do a quiz. And all this work is being done because from next time, what's the topic? What's the topic?
Cause and effect.
Cause and effect, the one killer law of karma. One killer chapter is starting next time. I don't know how we will get through it. We'll have to have some basic discipline in class to get through it. But now that we have this chapter coming up, the whole team is working hard so that people learn the subject. Okay. So in that, he's put a quiz. The quiz is, will your good karmas wipe out your bad karmas? What is your answer? Yes, no,
No.
No.
no, no. Everybody is like, no. Will your good karmas wipe out your bad karmas? So what happens to your bad karmas? If your good karmas are not wiping out your bad karmas, then what's happening to your bad karmas? Aruna Green. Oh, Aruna. Welcome to the class, Aruna. I know you're new, but I feel like I know you already. So what happens to your bad karma if your good karma is not wiping it out, then what's happening to it? Surrender. You will have to face the consequences. Means you did something bad. You have to pay for it. You all are very pessimistic people, Baba. So if I did something bad, now to I have to suffer. That is your theory on this. You stay calm and live with it. Okay, you give up. So if I've done something bad in my life, then I have to just pay the price, is it? That means, do you realize that if your theory is right, our whole life we'll be doing nothing but paying for our bad karmas? How many bad karmas we must have done in our life? What about if you were walking somewhere and you walked on an ant by mistake? Is that a bad karma? You killed the ant. Or you are walking and you walked on the cockroach and the cockroach died. Is this a bad karma? And if it's a bad karma, then will you have to pay for it? You have to bear the consequences. Example, murder. You go to jail. Okay, fine. But Surinder, you cannot give only an example where you will face. What about sometimes, or is it you have to? There is no alternative.
You can address it directly.
Okay, very good.
Understanding that you're not the doer and transcending karma is the next step.
So, understanding is also part of your karma, right? Karma means action.
Who is doing that karma and then going beyond good and bad.
All that is fine to say, but what does it actually mean? It is all a way of saying basic, unless you know what these words mean, it just says "Ki kuch bhi bolo," which sounds okay. These are the areas where we have to really be very careful. What does this sentence mean? So when I say, will my good karmas cancel out my bad karmas? And that's why we had that discussion. Omkar, like all of y'all, believes that no, of course not. You pay for it. So, if you take that stance, you will have a terrible life because you're constantly paying for all the horrible things you've done in the past, whether you know it or not. You took a breath and some creature went into your nose and died. All your bad karmas you're going to constantly pay for. So,
Janki ji?
that's right. Yes, Meera.
In case the karma comes back to you and you feel remorse and very guilty about it, then you will face the consequences of that through your guilt.
Okay, so if you don't know that you did something bad, you will not face the consequence.
Yeah, yes, because it's all in the mind basically, and the
How can you
intellect.
be? Suppose
The intellect.
suppose I'm a very attached person, and because of my attachment, I have driven away everybody from me. Am I not going to face the consequence of my attachment, even though I don't know I'm attached, and even though I don't know what I'm doing as it's driving people away from me?
Yeah, just like the example that you gave, you will feel agitation trying to keep everybody, with you. So that agitation will make you suffer the consequences.
But there's no guilt here.
Not exactly guilt, yes.
So you have to fit your answer to the question, no?
Mhm. Okay.
Just because we know, remember one formula, kahin bhi nahi dal sakte. Aruna, there's a saying, road to hell is paved with good intentions, correct? So coming back, remember we're not discussing this point. What is the point we're discussing?
Does good karma wipe out bad karma?
No, we're not discussing that. What are we discussing? What is our real point of discussion?
Misunderstanding religion.
Very good. There is abuse of religion in two ways. Either the goal is not clear or the methodology is not clear. In that discussion, we just took up a few kinds of misunderstandings, such as, does your good karma wipe out your bad karma? Now, my answer to that is yes. Your answer is no. So that's fine. We can have different answers, but we won't discuss the matter at the moment. And of course, Momita gave the right answer, which is, it depends on whether that karma is directly related or not. If it is directly related, you wiped it out. If it's not directly related, how will you wipe it out? So, not discussing that. What we're discussing is use and abuse of religion. These are just examples. Don't get carried away. One of the most important things you do in class is learn to focus. And when you learn to focus, you have to know this is the point, this is an illustration, this is an example, this example is meant to show you this. That's it. Otherwise, people will start. Like, most common one is when we discuss waking, dream, and deep sleep. Most common, you're discussing waking and dream and deep sleep to understand that there's Turiya. This is why we are doing it, to understand how this entire world could be an illusion and there is a reality. This is what we're discussing it for. Invariably, somebody in that discussion will say, do dreams come true? Like, you're not focusing on what are we talking about. So one of the most important things, I don't know if you say one of the most, it's among the top two important things is, or maybe I should say it's the most important thing. You're here to develop the intellect. And the intellect develops out of this reasoning that we are doing. And all your material and spiritual gains are a consequence of that intellect developing. If the intellect is not developing, you are wasting your time. Because they are not going to get anything here. If you went and you studied, I don't know what, coding, you can get a job as a coder. If you went and studied, I don't know, engineering, you'll probably make some money out of studying that engineering. We are not giving in Vedanta anything of that sort. There is no specific knowledge being transacted here. Please note, there's no specific knowledge being transacted. Then what exactly are we doing here? Please answer that question. What are we doing here?
Developing the intellect.
Developing them.
Baba, thank you. If nobody in the class knew what we were doing here, it would be, I don't know, I should go commit suicide or something. What are we doing here? Just trying to develop the intellect. That means developing a thoughtful, reflective view on life based on certain facts. And it is that ability in us that will help us deal with whatever it is that we have to deal with in this world, whether it is solving a problem, preventing a problem, or reaching our own potential. Now we are doing that table seminar. Everybody is saying, what is the takeaway of the table seminar? What am I to tell people? What are you doing and what are you hoping to get out of it? You're hoping to develop that particular way of looking at things. It's not about the information you collect here, but a way of doing it, a technique of doing it. That's what we're doing here. And if you don't do that, and if you just do the same thing that you did in school, which is memorize the various points, then this will be of no help to you. Sorry, Omkar, Bichara Omkar, he's trying so hard and doing a marketing program to bring people here, and I'm telling you all, it's all useless. Sorry, Omkar, he's not going to be happy with me. It is not a specific knowledge. It is an intellect that we have to develop over here. The intellect is your way of dealing with things. A thoughtful, reflective approach, because of which you see in your life everything getting just better and better. Whether it is what you can acquire or whether it is how you can serve. Both ways, it gets better and better. You get more focused, you get more disciplined, you get more clear. And this is what should happen. Not take up some little information and start tossing it around. All right. So what is use and abuse of spirituality? Use of spirituality is the attempt to reach your original nature. That's its right use. What is its wrong use? That you attempt to do something else with it. What are the things you can attempt to do with it?
Use it for intellectual stimulation or use it for gaining reputation.
Right. It comes under intellect. You can use it for, why did you pick only intellect? You can use it for physical, emotional, intellectual demands. Correct. Prashant, you did 2 of the body ones. Deepraj, you did 2 of the intellect ones, your reputation. You want people to think you're a spiritual person. And it's the worst thing you should want somebody to think about you, because it's a massive trap. The moment you look upon yourself as a spiritual person, or you want others to look upon you as a spiritual person, you will cease to be yourself. Because you are now focused on what others are in how they are interpreting your action. And people will trigger you on that. They will tell you things like, oh, you're going to Vedanta class, then how are you getting angry? My anger and Vedanta class have got nothing to do with each other. Keep them apart. If I feel the need to fire you, I'm going to fire you. So when the attention shifts from self-development or self-realization to physical, emotional, intellectual needs. Okay, we did 2 from physical, we did 2 from intellectual. Now let's do 2 from emotional.
Going for pilgrimages.
Sorry, you both spoke together. Can you say it again?
Going for pilgrimages to wipe out your sins.
Okay, you could say that. Who said that?
Meera.
Okay, wipe out your sins. Okay, today you're on the sin bandwagon, Meera. I think you're doing some reflection on it.
Writing something.
Okay, suddenly when you're using any one concept, you'll suddenly find everything explained by that one thing.
Using
What
it for improving our relations, peace,
Yes, for peace, for feeling
relations.
peaceful, for getting love and affection of others, Mamita, correct? You want it's one of the things that people look for out of their spiritual things, like people go to the church or people go to the temple. One of the things they look for when they do that is
The peace and the solace.
okay,
Peace.
what else? Peace we covered already. What else? So you go to your temple every day, or you go to your church or your mosque every day. One of the things people are looking for out of it is
Community engagement.
Distractions. Is it distraction also from the worldly routine or
yes, okay, distraction. What were you saying, Parna?
Self-shift, wealth, personal gains.
No, we are not at the emotional level.
Okay. So,
to
Neeta?
build, yeah, to build the faith, to build that faith.
To build up Aruna. Yeah, okay, that's okay. Aruna, community, yes, Deepraj, community engagement, correct.
To be one with the God.
No, we are now talking abuse of religion, right? So, correct, Aruna and Deepraj, a sense of community. You do not know how many desires of yours are being satisfied by coming to class. Intellectual stimulation, sense of community, the peace that your class gives you. So many things are going on. They are all mere, one word,
Emotional satisfaction.
There's two words.
Solace.
Okay. They are all mere offshoots, they're side effects. And yet sometimes the focus changes from the main product to the byproduct. What is the main product? Main product has to be self-development, self-realization. That's our main product. But along with it, so many other things come, and they become sometimes more entertaining than the main product. So many things, right? You might get a good reputation in your thing. All the foolish things of the world that you may say, people will say, no, वो तो spiritual लोग हैं ना, वो ऐसे ही बोलते हैं. That is, anything nonsensical you say becomes spiritual. You don't understand. People tend to treat you more kindly. More kindly means they put up with you a lot more because they think you're a spiritual person. So it is amazing how many things you get. In the scriptures, it is shown as, you remember that great example that there is the Devas and the Asuras. These two are brothers, na? Devas and Asuras are brothers. The gods and the demons, they are brothers. Means they have the same father. Their mother is different. Diti and Aditi. So Diti is Daityas, Aditi is the Devas. These two jokers decided to put aside their, these two groups decided to put aside their differences and work together towards finding Amrit. And so they decided to churn the ocean. And how now they needed something to churn it on. So they used the tortoise. And they needed a rope to churn. So they used the snake. And then when they were churning, all these wonderful things of creation came out. Lakshmi came out. Uchchaishravas came out. Uchchaishravas is the white-winged horse. Then all these wonderful things started coming out. Gold and silver and all these wonderful things started coming out. And the gods and the demons started getting distracted. So similarly, when you churn the ocean of your mind on the basis of the tortoise, which is your own experiences, you're churning the mind with your experiences and this knowledge. You have been through so much in this world, right? So basically, whatever you have been through should have taught you Vedanta. But if it did not teach you this, then now Vedanta gives you a map by which you can understand why the various things have happened and therefore what is going to happen in the future. And once that clarity comes to you, all these wonderful things start coming. Do not get distracted. Do not get distracted from it. So when the byproduct starts becoming more important than the product itself, this is called
Negative religion.
Negative religion. Correct. Right? So what is positive religion? I'm going towards the self. What is negative religion? Either I have some other goal, means I'm not going towards the self. I want something physical or emotional or intellectual. Or I want the self maybe, but my understanding of the methodology is incorrect. So therefore we did certain examples. I want to be detached. So what am I to do? I'm going to go to the Himalayas. Okay, go to the Himalayas. Then what will you do in the Himalayas? Well, if you are a trader, you go to the Himalayas and you will start Himalayan sari shop. Because where will you run from your nature? You can't run from your nature. Suppose you're a very emotional person and you go to the Himalayas. Oh, I'm fed up with my family over here. They're all stupid and irritating, and I'm just going to go to the Himalayas. Then what will you do there? You will go there and create another family for yourself. You say, ये मेरा बच्चा है. आप मेरे बाबूजी जैसे हो. You will do the same thing there which you were doing here. Because where can we run from our nature? So that's why many people, they come to me and say, my husband is horrible, my wife is horrible, I want to leave this person. Please sort yourself out instead of leaving that person. Because you cannot run away from who you are. First you sort that out, then you decide whether you want to stay here and leave. I'm not against leaving your partner, please. I have myself recommended divorce to many people. Well, not many people, few people. But there has to be some, you are making the mistakes and you want to leave your partner thinking that the mistakes are going to get sorted away. It doesn't work like that. So, where are we going to run from our nature? The process of spirituality is dealing with that nature. So, our methodology has to be correct. And we should be able to see the results. That is the other problem we have in spirituality. Everybody knows that, oh, results don't matter. It is the most nonsensical feeling we have in our head that results don't matter. How can you say that? Gita says results don't matter. Gita says results don't matter. What does that line mean? It means focus on actions, getting your actions right. It doesn't mean that your results won't come. How is it possible that you thought of an action properly, you executed it properly, your intellect is totally involved in this whole thing, but result didn't come? How is this possible? What happened? Then you have to go back and say, what happened? How can result not come? The results are in my hands, for heaven's sake. Or at least they are in my actions. A result is nothing but the result of an action. So you got to figure out which is that action that will give you that result. What is the use of saying, oh, results don't matter? Okay, go and say it, but that is not what Krishna meant. You are welcome to have that view. Momita, the benefits are byproducts, but we can use them to gain motivation instead towards the goal. You could, I guess, but it's a very bad form of motivation. You know why? Because when the benefits motivate you, not getting the benefits will demotivate you. This is not the kind of thing that will give you consistency. The value for the goal gives us consistency. That vision matters to you so much that you're going to work for it. If you're dependent on the results, that's what he's saying. Do not be dependent on these results. To which we have gone to the other extreme and said results don't matter. It's not that results don't matter. Results tell you whether or not you're doing the right action. So I didn't get the result I wanted. And so I have to work my way backwards and figure out what is the action I did which is not sufficient or not correct. It could be either insufficient or incorrect. And then use the result as sort of a yardstick that I'm doing things correctly. But if they motivate me, then there's a problem here. I mean, you get motivated. I don't know if you remember Rajasic consistency. Anybody remembers what is Rajasic consistency from the Bhagavad Gita? They are very, very motivated when the result comes, and they are demotivated when the result doesn't. The sattvic person works regardless of the result. So in this way, we can understand what Krishna really meant when he says that do not be concerned of the result. Because as Shankara says, and I think you should remember this statement of Shankara always, that the scriptures are self-consistent. Excuse me. So do you accept this? That the scriptures are self-consistent. If you think they are based on reason and logic, if you believe they are reasonable and sensible, then they have to be self-consistent. If you believe that they are self-consistent, which is one of Shankara's main arguments, he says you have to see the scriptures as a whole, and you cannot simply pluck lines out, obviously. So if they are telling us something which is true and reasonable, as a whole, the scriptures have to be self-consistent. So if you find something that is not consistent, then you have to understand that
I
There's a
haven't
lack in
studied the whole.
understanding.
I
you have
haven't studied the whole bit.
correct, not understood it. You've got to go back and figure out which, now, okay, where have I made a mistake? Right? So that's a very good example of how the methodology goes wrong when we say the results don't matter and we go on doing stupid actions, not getting the results, and then saying results don't matter. The results are not coming because your actions are wrong, for heaven's sake. So you have to look at the results to understand whether you're doing the sensible thing. Means in theory, it may sound very sensible, but when you actually do it, it's nonsensical. How do you know it's nonsensical?
The results aren't coming.
You're not getting the results.
No. How can it be? If Aparna is doing some scientific experiment and her theory is that carbon and oxygen gives you water, and then she keeps on putting carbon and oxygen together and no water comes, she says results don't matter. How can this be correct? Isn't it? Now, I don't know in your field, Aparna, what you put, some DNA you put along with, I don't know what something else, I don't know, DNA, RNA must be doing something together. Now you're saying, no, they're not doing it together. But my theory I will hold. How can that be? Isn't it? If you say, I've written a wonderful program, software program, but no results are coming out of that program. It's giving you error result each time. And you say, oh, results don't matter. What kind of nonsensical understanding is that? Right? So what can go wrong on the spiritual path?
Not understanding the goal and not understanding the method.
You can misunderstand the goal. Okay, you get involved in all the byproducts, or you understand the goal, but you misunderstood the methodology. So he gave two examples of missing the methodology. Which are the two he gave?
Yoga and meditation.
Yoga and meditation. Very good. Yoga and meditation sometimes become an end in themselves. Sometimes they are used incorrectly for the purpose of spiritual growth. Aruna, are you saying that the result we get may not be what we thought we would get, but it doesn't necessarily mean we did something wrong? Our original idea of what we would get was perhaps unrealistic. These two sentences are the same, Aruna, that if your idea of what we would get is unrealistic, then obviously what you're doing is incorrect. Because your goal only, your starting point is incorrect. Perhaps we were unaware of other influence. That's another wrong thing you could do. That you are not considering that there are other beings and objects in the world beside yourself. Like, for instance, most common example, simple examples, if we take, it's easy. I want to get to class at 10:30. I know that the process of getting to class at 10:30 takes me half an hour. I have to dress, I have to do X, I have to do Y, whatever. It's half an hour. And I leave myself half an hour so that I'm ready at class at 10:30. What is the most likely thing to happen?
I will not get to class at 10:30.
I will be consistently late. Because when I say that I need half an hour to get ready for class, I am assuming that I live in a vacuum. It is incredible how many people want to call me just before class. How many want to message me something urgent? So it cannot be right that so that's another wrong thing we do. We are not aware of other influences. We don't take into consideration that we are not living in a vacuum. We don't budget for all these other things. Like in Dubai, I believe, when the crash took place, you remember the Dubai crash? So all the prices of the properties crashed at that time. The young boys there had taken massive mansions and had very good jobs, and they were paying their EMI and all this stuff. And then suddenly the place crashed, the job went, the mansion went, everything went. Because you're assuming things which could not be assumed. So that's another wrong thing one does. Or our reaction to other influences. Yes, that's right. We don't know how our mind may feel when those things happen. So Aruna, if you see what you have written, that all the various wrong things we can do, and that's why we don't get the result. But we are not getting results because we are missing something. It's not a blame game. When this is the other problem. Now, when we say we are missing something, then becomes a blame game. Oh my God, I'm so horrible. I'm so stupid. It's not like that. It's focusing on it so much that you keep improving how you're doing things. Nothing to take personally. Is that okay, Aruna? Right. So first we studied what is positive religion. That means you use the right methodology to reach the goal of self-realization. What is wrong religion is your understanding of the goal is correct or your understanding of the methodology is correct. Now, having understood negative and positive religion, we go on to the next step, which is understanding the obstacles that we will face. These are very important things for us to know because this is not theoretical. This is really what is going to happen. After you do karma, bhakti, jnana, okay, when you first start your karma, bhakti, jnana, it's a bit of a pain. Get up in the morning, study. Somehow you get used to that. Then what do you have to do? You have to remember to do bhakti. Arey Baba, today I forgot to listen to bhajan. So it's a bit of a pain. Then you do karma. Oh my God, I have not done enough service. This is a bit of a pain, the whole thing. Because now you have to stop thinking. What is karma? Karma is not merely taking up some social work. Karma means that wherever I am, I only think of service. I am incapable of thinking of something. That is real karma. Karma means karma yoga. So when you're doing karma yoga, anytime you meet anyone, you think of doing service. Right? Now, when you start doing this, you will make all sorts of mistakes in life. All sorts of problems you will enter. I remember when I was young, there's so much is there on this focus on anywhere you meet, anywhere you go, you have to always think of the other person. Don't think of yourself. If somebody asks you for something, you must give more than they have asked. All these thoughts are in your head, undigested. So I was going somewhere to take class, and the taxi wala asked me for some money, whatever money I had to pay him. And then all this is going on in my head. How much more should I give? How can I be of service? I left my book in the cab and I went to class, and I've lost that book forever. This is all the nonsense we keep doing. So I have great examples for you all because been there, done that. So if you start doing the karma, you will do it wrong. Start doing the bhakti, you will do it wrong. You will get bad results of your karma. And then you'll say, what they said, if you do service, this will happen, that will happen. One man, very interestingly, he also got filled with this notion of I must give more than I am asked. I have to service every time, all this undigested thoughts. So he was selling his house. And that person asked for his house he was trying to sell it and he wanted, let us say, I'm just making up a figure. Let's say he wanted 5 crores. That person said, no, I will give you 3.5 crores. So the market price must have been 4.5. I don't know, whatever. Somewhere between the market price was. And then that lady said, I'll give 3.5. So he asked her, do you think that's the right price? Whatever you think is the right price, you give. Do you think 3.5 is the right price? It wasn't the right price. But she said, yes, I think it's the right price. So he had to sell his house to her for less than the market value. Luckily, he got saved from that transaction. Otherwise, he was giving it to her. That concept is always misunderstood. Therefore, you do nonsensical acts. Therefore, you get the lashback. You get the hit for doing all these nonsensical things. Then what happens? Then slowly, maar ke, you begin to get what is the right study, what is the right karma, what is the right bhakti, you start getting. And then your life sort of blossoms and flowers and you are so happy, you're so not interested in the things that are there and you're just like so happy with things. And here's where the next obstacle comes. Because life has just become easy for you. You can handle the challenges. It's no big deal. And you have great happiness because you're doing your karma, you're doing your bhakti, you're doing your jnana, you're doing it correctly. All of this will happen. Now what will happen to your mind? Now the mind settles down. It is so happy in its spiritual pursuit that it forgets that this is a pursuit. What are you sitting down for? Even if you're on the right road, but you sit down, you still won't reach the destination. Being on the right road is not enough. You keep walking. So the next obstacle you face is the immense joy and pleasure of the spiritual path. The great beauty of the whole thing. So you have to pick yourself up. Give yourself higher challenges. Remember the goal is still to be achieved. And keep walking forward. Others are so happy. What do you mean you're so happy? We don't care whether you're happy or not. Get on and start working. You say, oh, doesn't happiness matter? You only said all of life is for happiness. Yes, Baba, all of life is for happiness. But go there. Don't just sit here saying, I'm so happy. Okay, is that clear? Any questions up to this point? So what did we do? Positive religion, negative religion, obstacle in religion. Correct? Nobody is saying okay, not okay. Everybody is same story. Okay. What about the rest of you? Okay? All good so far?
Yes, all good.
Okay. Very good. Thank you. All right. Oh, I forgot to check if there was anyone new in class. Okay. All old names. Very nice. So now, from your attachment to the material world, we move to the attachment to the spiritual world. This attachment is much worse than material attachment because
Greater
We won't
pleasure.
recognize this as attachment.
correct. Both of you are right. Because it gives you so much greater pleasure that you sink into it. And you no longer recognize that you are merely attached. You no longer understand this. You no longer are willing to challenge yourself. You will see most spiritual people say things like, "Oh, I am so spiritual, I have left everything." Because they're very happy. Why should I do any work? I'm happy. But you become tamasic. What about that? So, very, very important that as long as we are alive, we just keep moving forward. If you're breathing, ask yourself, am I breathing? If you don't know, check. Breathing, then you need to be working and moving forward. When that you do this and no breath comes, then you are free of doing anything. But until then, keep at it. No, I have to retire. I am withdrawing from work. I am withdrawing from my company. There's no problem withdrawing from your company. You can withdraw from your company. Don't withdraw from work. Otherwise, you will spend your life doing what, going to the bank. That is the cafe coffee day for seniors. They go there, they'll update the passport, they deposit some check because they don't want to learn internet banking. That is their entertainment. Every morning they go to the bank. The bank people are also happy to see them. They give them chai, coffee, and all that. And bank people don't want to work. These people don't want to work. Everybody's having a great time. That's not. How are we going to go? As a Vedantan, you will go with your boots on. You've not hung up your boots yet. You go with your boots on. Till the last moment. That's what Thomas Dylan says, remember? Remember his poem? Go not gently into the good night. Fight, fight against the fading of the light. Go not gently into the good night. Fight, fight against the fading of the light. Now, luckily, this is not relevant to us. All of y'all, I can see, are not in that condition yet. But please remember, when you are touching 100, that you will still be working towards your growth. There's only one exception to this rule. What's the exception?
You're self-realized.
Yes, you're self-realized. One's very good, Vidushi. If you're self-realized, this rule is no longer applicable to you. But if you're not, if you're breathing and not self-realized, you please keep working. Right? So you take up your challenges, you take up the next step, you keep on moving. Yes, Milind. Don't drop 100 coins and take one gold. Not gold. What? Don't drop 100 coins and take a diamond. Correct. Right. So now let's do the next paragraph. Who will read the next paragraph? Meera, will you read the next paragraph?
In the same manner, you cannot gain enlightenment without the aid of the spiritual courses. Ironically, if you are attached to the courses, cling on to them, you cannot gain it either. The spiritual courses can lift you to the zenith of terrestrial perfection. Thereafter, you must leave them and plunge into the silence of meditation. Then alone would you be able to cross over to the transcendental, attain spiritual enlightenment. So it says you cannot gain enlightenment, though you cannot gain enlightenment without the aid of spiritual courses. You should not get attached to those courses and cling to them. You may feel that it reaches you to great heights, but that is only at the spiritual, at the terrestrial level. So you will have to leave them at some point and plunge into meditation, which would be your last step towards attaining spiritual enlightenment.
So now that we said, oh, you will get so attached to spiritual courses, don't drop your spiritual courses, please. Don't say, oh my God, if I take up karma bhakti jnana, then I will get so attached to it, they'll be so happy, and I will. No, as Meera has so wisely told us, please continue doing them. That is what we do. That is just our life. Not for today, not for tomorrow, but for the rest of our lives. That's just what we do. What do? We do karma, we do bhakti, we do jnana. When we work in the world, whatever work we do with the attitude of service. Whatever emotion we have in this world, we do it with the attitude of spreading the emotion or not constricting the emotion. And whatever jnana we do must help us discriminate. And our knowledge should tell us what is the higher, what is the lower. And we do that. That's just a normal life, nothing very unusual about it. And we just keep on doing it. We give ourselves goals. What is it I'm trying to do? How much of that have I achieved? How much is yet to be done? Is it happening in a realistic time frame? All that Aruna told us. Our original idea of what we should get should not be unrealistic. We should be aware of other influences. We should be aware of our reaction to other influences. For instance, it is quite possible that I fail at something. Okay, and then I'm very, very upset at it. So I must leave myself some time not to be upset. It's obvious. Suppose I am, I know that, when I'm upset, I can't work. Suppose I know this. Then what should I do? What is the most sensible thing for me to do? Huh? What, Jayashree? Not get upset. But I am upset. Now what am I?
No, don't work.
Okay. So leave yourself some time, not for that. You say, no, I can't work unless I see one movie a week. Then please leave yourself some time for that. How can you fix everything and not leave? Then your mind will want to see movie. Then you will break your schedule and see the movie. Then you will be very guilty. Oh my God, how did I see the movie? My work is missing. But if you need to see a movie, why have you not left yourself some time? If you're going to get all upset when you fail, then leave yourself some time to experience being upset. Whatever you know your life is, organize it. You know that every once in a while my husband fights with me. And when he fights with me, then one day of mine gets wasted. Then leave one day extra because he's going to fight with you, and then one day will get wasted. leave that day available for this fight. Because you must know your own life, right? And organize yourself accordingly. I told you, between my husband and I, when we fight, I have told him, I don't care whether I'm on speaking terms with you or not. This job you have to do. And he has agreed to this. And I also have agreed that no matter whether we are on talking terms or not, these jobs I have to do. Because I really need him, My whole IT works because of him. Every time I fight with him, if he stops doing my IT, what will I do? So I've already made this pact with him. This IT stuff, I don't care whether we are on talking terms, not talking terms, you have to do it. Because I know every now and then we won't be on talking terms because he'll irritate me too much or I'll irritate him too much. Okay. Then what will happen after that? Now you're living together, how long will you not talk? You have to eventually talk. Once you start talking, things will come back to normal. Of course, over the years now, fights are much easier because you already know what both parties are going to say. You can finish this off in 30 seconds. Same thing is going to be said. So it's not very time consuming after a few years. So once you know all this, then you just organize your life accordingly. So simple, no? Mamita, terrestrial perfection means you have only one desire, and that is to reach the self. So when you have that level, then you will sit in the state of meditation, and next step will be realization. So when coming, Why is that supposed to be terrestrial perfection? Because at that stage, you will have universal love, you will have complete discrimination, and you will never be able to perform a selfless or non-selfless action. Ulta, I'm saying, no, let me say this properly. Because at that level, every action will be selfless, every emotion will be universal love, and every thought will be correct discrimination between what is higher and what is lower. And why is this happening? Because you have just this one desire for self-realization. Okay. So that's it for this chapter. From next chapter onwards, we will start with the law of causation. And does anyone have any announcements or anything? Okay, so if you all want to help out, please help